Well, I thought I would see if you'd want to spend a little time in the kitchen with me today. I'm probably being way too optimistic, hoping all the things that we can get done, but I have tons of stuff from the garden that we need to do some stuff with. And so we're gonna make some chili, we're gonna can tomatoes, maybe try to make 2 bundt cakes. We have some special occasions coming up, so I'll tell you all about that. But more importantly, how has simplifying the inventory in our house made it so that all of this is so much easier and more enjoyable too? Well, it is good to see you today. It is such a beautiful time in Minnesota right now. And so I shared with you earlier this summer about planting my garden, and I have never been able to grow a pepper to save my soul. And look at this beautiful thing. And there's like tons of them. And so my garden was successful this year. I'm excited about that. Next year when we plant again, I'll share some of the things. Everything I've learned has been from you, so thank you, it worked. We have tons of tomatoes. And so, okay, first things first, here's what is the biggest thing. I've heard it said that 40% of what we call cleaning and housekeeping is actually moving around and organizing and arranging our stuff. And so I feel so strongly, especially this time of year, that as we've reduced the inventory and highly decluttered and simplified our home, that it makes it absolutely possible to clean and cook and stay on top of all that kind of stuff because I'm not spending that extra 40% on managing the stuff. So now on a beautiful fall day like today, I feel like I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor of simplifying, and I get to do some really enjoyable things like canning tomatoes and making chili and some bundt cakes. I feel like the pioneer woman today, which is fun because these are things I enjoy doing. What you would choose to do with your other 40% of the time might not be these same things, but that's totally okay. Okay, so like I said, I might be being a little bit too ambitious today, but I do want to can some tomatoes, and then I do want to make some chili, the type of chili I like, not the rest of the family. Oh, and a pasta bake too, because we're celebrating Tom and Gage's birthdays. So we're gonna make a bundt cake for that. But then also, if we have time, I wanna make a cookie dough bundt cake for our bundt cake cookbook that's gonna come out later this year. So, even as I'm saying that now, that's probably ridiculous. All right, so what I've already done is I actually have the pasta and the hamburger made for the pasta bake. So why don't we put that together, and I'll share with you what we have going on tonight to celebrate birthdays. So this pasta is a favorite. We have been making it for years, and it's so simple. You just make a box of penne, and I'll show you the secret ingredient here in a second, and then put it in a greased baking dish. You need kind of a large dish. What we're actually doing tonight is going to Diana and Princeton's house to celebrate both Tom and Gage's birthday. And okay, here's the secret ingredient. It's a jar of Alfredo. And we're ordering Indian food for the adults, and then I knew we needed like more of a kid-friendly option, so that's why I'm making the pasta bake. This makes a huge batch. We're actually gonna have 14 kids tonight when all the family gets together, and this will feed everybody. I have no doubt about that, as well as the adults that don't care as much for spicy food, but we love going to Diana and Princeton's and having that, and it was really nice of them to host tonight. Mix in all of the Alfredo sauce, and then you can use a pound of ground hamburger or ground sausage, and you put that on top. And then I'm just gonna put about a jar and a half of pasta sauce on top. It seems like a lot at first, but it really soaks in. If you've made pasta bakes or even lasagna, you know how it really soaks in. So I'm liberal with the spaghetti sauce, and then you can put salt and pepper and some Italian seasoning, and then I'm putting mozzarella cheese on top. And then I'm gonna put about 3 or half a cup maybe of what is that, Parmesan on top. And you could also put like some Italian breadcrumbs on top. And then you just cover it with tin foil and bake it at 350 for like a half hour so that it's warm through. And I'll just show you real quick. This is what it looked like when it was done and baked. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so now that we have the pasta bake together, I think that we're gonna save canning the tomatoes to the very end because that is definitely the messiest thing that we're gonna do today. I already made a triple chocolate bundt cake for Gage to decorate, so I think we'll have him decorate that because then I know everything that we have to bring with tonight is ready to go. And then let's put together that cookie dough bundt cake because I'm just excited to see if that's actually gonna turn out or not, and then we'll get going on the chili too. Okay, so now we are gonna work on Gage's birthday cake. He wants to have a racetrack car theme for it, so I'm trying to make gray frosting. So I'm mixing green and purple and then I'm gonna put in a little yellow to get the final color. So basically, and then I'm frosting it here. You can tell I don't do this very often because like the bag is covering the camera most of the time. But for birthdays, what we do is we don't give gifts. The kids get to decorate their own cake, and then their birthday party is their gift, and they're totally fine with that because they still get lots of gifts from friends and family, and we've been doing it since they were young, so it makes it kind of natural. So Gage wanted a race car cake, and so that's what he was getting. I think we got that frosting pretty gray, Gage. What do you think? Does it look pretty good? Okay, so we have some Tootsie Rolls here. We're gonna use as like barriers on the outside, so should we put some of those on? And then you can put the cars on? All right, I think that sounds good. All right, so here are our cars. We did wash them to make sure, well, Adeline washed them to make sure they're clean, right? And yeah, just kind of gently set it on. There you go, cool. Are you gonna have one kind of like spinning off the side, or are they all gonna be on the tray? Okay, cool. You can't really move it once you put it on, so he'll just have to be there.
Probably fall.
Okay, I'll put it back in the fridge so that they harden up, okay? Cool.
The finish line should be either here or here.
Okay, cool. All right, why don't we put it in the fridge and then you can finish decorating in a little bit, okay?
Or like one is on the fridge.
Yeah. And it turned out so well. Isn't that cute? And of course, this is just my triple chocolate bundt cake. I can make this in my sleep. We've made it so many times. And that's part of the way I have simplified entertaining or get-togethers is I just make the same thing all the time. And so bundt cakes and chocolate chip cookie bars are always my go-to. And I'll put recipes for anything that I'm showing today down in the description. All right, now we're gonna try a new recipe, which is the cookie dough bundt cake. And so what I love about these bundt cakes is they're so easy to make. You literally can dump everything into your mixing bowl and then just stir it together. So simple ingredients, easy to keep on hand. And so this one I'm actually making a milk chocolate bundt cake. So all we do, it's the triple chocolate, but we swap out a yellow cake mix for the chocolate cake mix. And so I'm gonna get that all mixed together, and then we're gonna put in the cookie dough. So did you know Pillsbury cookie dough you can actually eat raw? So my hope was that the cookie dough would still be a little bit like, raw sounds like a bad word, but it wouldn't be cooked all the way through in the cake. And so I just got the cookie dough that comes in like the square package that's already in the little cubes, already made and in the fridge. You can make your own cookie dough, but like who has time for that? But they say to refrigerate it first if you're gonna put it in something. So I'm putting about 2/3 of the cake batter into the greased bundt cake pan, and then I'm gonna put the cookie dough on top. I wasn't sure how far to push it in. My experience in the past is if you do any kind of filling, it soaks to the bottom or the curved part of the cake. So I thought they might sink a little bit, and so I didn't push them in very far. And today's video is sponsored by Helix. You know, I was thinking about it. There is no other single piece of furniture that we spend as much time in, most likely, as our bed, right? Some of us have a comfy chair, we've invested in a good couch, but have we upgraded our mattress? Because it makes a huge difference in how you sleep. I don't know, we've gone to the mattress store and done the whole thing where you try to like, isn't it so awkward when you go to a mattress store because you're like laying on a bed in front of salespeople and you're trying to like lay on it for a minute to see if it's something you want to spend 8 hours each night on. Like, it's such an awkward experience. And there's so much pressure on that then. And of course, what we love about Helix is that it's so simple. So you go online and you take their sleep quiz. And what it asks you is, what position do you normally sleep in? Tom and I are side sleepers and stomach sleepers. You're not supposed to sleep on your stomach. It's not good for your neck, but I have not been able to break the habit yet. So we're side and stomach sleepers. It asks you what kind of firmness you like, and we err a little bit more on the firm side. And both people in your party take it. Not that you have a party, sleeping on your bed, but anyone who sleeps on the mattress, they take the quiz with you. And then it combines all that together and it tells you what kind of mattress should you have. And so for us, we were matched with the Helix Dusk Luxe. We've had it for over 2 years, and it's still just the right firmness. We still sleep on it really well. Your mattress comes rolled up in a box. It's delivered right to your door, free shipping in the US, and you unroll it and it takes shape, and then you get to test it out for 100 nights. No 1 or 2 awkward minutes in the store, 100 nights to decide if it is in fact the right fit for you. And then beyond that, it also has a 10-year warranty too. And so you just get lots of time to test it out and try it out and make sure you're gonna love it too. And if you use our link down below, you can save up to $200 on your mattress and get 2 free pillows. And then you have plenty of energy to can tomatoes and make bundt cakes and all of that. So we better get back to work. So then I put the other third of the batter on top and put it in the oven at 325. I wasn't sure how much longer it was gonna take to bake, so I ended up cooking it about 10 minutes longer than usual, and this is how it came out. Isn't that awesome? So you can see some of the cookie dough. In hindsight, I would have pushed it down into the pan a little bit further. You let it sit in the pan for 20 minutes and then you can flip it out onto your cake stand. And then for this one, because it's for the cookbook and I'm gonna take pictures of it, I'm going all out and I'm putting some ganache on top, which is just heavy whipping cream and chocolate chips melted together. So I'm putting that on top. I'm gonna let that set up, and then here's where this even came from. I saw this cookie dough frosting in the store, and that's where I thought we should make a cookie dough bundt cake. And so this frosting is actually a little bit more like cookie dough than frosting. Like, it has that consistency of cookie dough. So I'm kind of just putting it on top in I don't know, a manner that still makes it look kind of like a cookie dough. This cake is gonna be so sweet. Like, it's a little over the top. Like, the kids were like, and now you're putting mini M&Ms on it. I'm like, it just needs a little color, right? So it turned out so cool. So here's me trying to get some good shots of it. And I got this cake stand recently at Home Goods. Isn't it cute? Cake stands are maybe my one thing that I have too many of. And then though, we had to cut into it and make sure it was cooked all the way through and see what that cookie dough did actually on the inside. I was thrilled when I saw it. I'm jumping ahead. I was thrilled with how it turned out. So on this side, you couldn't see the cookie dough quite as much, but then I turned it around to the other side, and that's where you could really see the cookie dough. So I used 16 of the 18 pieces, and I think that was actually perfect for the cookie dough. Like I said, I might have pushed it in just a little bit further. I would recommend, if you make this cake, you don't need the cookie dough frosting too. I would pick one or the other. Like, make a chocolate bundt cake and put cookie dough frosting on top, or put the cookie dough in and then just do like the ganache on top or a light frosting or glaze, and that's all you would need. It was so sweet, but it was so good. And that recipe book is gonna be for a fundraiser, and so our hope is to have it out by National Bundt Cake Day, which is November 15th. So of course we'll keep you posted on that, but that recipe will of course be in it. All right, now we're gonna move on to making some chili. So I really like chili. My family is okay, but when I make it for them, they don't want it to be spicy at all. And I love spicy, chunky chili with like lots of vegetables in it. I don't even know if that still makes it chili or not, but that's how I like my chili. And so today what I wanna do is make a batch just how I like it, and then I'm gonna put it into individual serving sizes for myself and put some in the freezer and some in the fridge just so I can have it for lunches. I would be curious, how are you? I can eat the same thing for lunch every single day and I don't care. I've done this before with chili, so I'm like, I'm just gonna make a big batch of the kind I like, and then I'll have it every day for lunch. I also make chili a little bit differently. I use salsa instead of like tomato sauce or whatever, crushed tomatoes. So I'm doing 3 pounds of hamburger here. So then I'm doing 3 jars of salsa, 3 cans of chili beans. I'm not gonna go super heavy on the chili beans because beans don't freeze quite as well, and I'm gonna load it up with vegetables. So that's what I'm gonna do instead. And like I said, I like making it spicy. So I'm gonna put in like 8 or 9 jalapenos. I'm gonna put some of the seeds in so to give it a little more spice. If you keep all the seeds out, it's just not spicy at all. I didn't know how far to go with the seeds. In hindsight, it's spicy, but it could have used some more spice. I would have put more seeds in with it, but you just never know, right? And I know once you freeze it too, it loses a lot of the spice too. So I do wish that I had made it just a little bit spicier, but that's okay. I'll do that next time. And then I put 2 whole onions in it. I didn't actually simmer it long enough for the veggies to get too soft because, again, my experience is that when it goes in the freezer or the fridge and you warm it up again, the veggies are plenty soft enough. So I didn't feel like I had to let it simmer too long. So now I'm gonna put in some bell peppers. I think I put in like 4 bell peppers total. And so it's just a way that I can get my veggies in a day, right? Without having to eat them all of the time. So I'm just loading it up with that too. But look at this, isn't it so beautiful? I love chili this way. I could have put some black beans in too. I think actually would have been kind of good too. And then I put in 1 packet of chili seasoning, a little salt and pepper, and it's pretty good to go, and I really like it a lot. And then we're gonna get canning tomatoes, but after we're done with that, while I'm waiting for them to process, then we'll divide it up into food containers and baggies. Okay, so I'm trying to get everything ready now to can the tomatoes. I put the jars in the dishwasher to sterilize them, so those will be done in a few minutes. And then I'm getting everything else out here. Trying not to forget anything, because like once you get going, you need everything. And I know this looks like a lot of tomatoes, but I know from experience it won't actually do that many. So I don't think we're gonna need a ton of jars. And I found out I only have 5 lids. I thought I had more of these. So it has to be 5 jars or less, but I really don't think that's gonna be a problem. So why don't we get started? The water's boiling to blanch them, and then we'll just get going. And I don't know. It's been a while since I've done this, so I don't know if this is, I can't remember. I'm not remembering everything, so I don't know. We'll just get going and see how it goes. Okay, so I did end up watching a few YouTube videos to remember how to do this. Everyone does it so differently though, so I'm like combining all the methods and what I've done in the past that's worked. So I washed the tomatoes, scored the bottom, and am blanching them. And then once they have boiled for just a few seconds, or I don't know, less than a minute, then I put it into the ice bath and then start peeling the peels off and then cutting out the cores. What I love about tomatoes from the garden is how red they are all the way through. Isn't that what is just the coolest part? So I'm actually canning these for my grandpa's friend Marv. So Marv has helped us with our garden. He brought me tomato plants this year, but he lives in a nursing home now and he's had some health challenges. So I haven't even gotten to give him really many fresh tomatoes this year. So he loves them canned. And so that's why I'm doing this. We don't really use canned tomatoes. I just don't know what to do with them yet, but I've canned salsa and tomatoes for him in the past. And so that's why I'm doing this. This is for him and I really want them to turn out. So I'm hoping that they're going to turn out okay as I'm doing this. So, okay, so now we have the jars. I took them out of the dishwasher and then I put a tablespoon of lemon juice in the bottom and a little bit of hot water, boiling water. And then I'm putting in the tomatoes and then I'll push them down to try and get them nice and full. And then I'm gonna take that plastic straw there and kind of go around the outsides to make sure that there isn't any air bubbles in there. And then once I do that, I'll top it off with a teaspoon of salt and also a little bit more of the boiling water that's in the teapot. And then meanwhile, I have the lids in that other pan of water on the stove warming up so that they're, I don't know, warmed up when I put them on. So I'm getting the air bubbles out and then I'll top them off again and then get the lids on and everything. Yeah, and this is the point, oh yeah, and then wipe off the tops of the jars too, where I'm like, am I doing this right? Have I forgotten something? Like, is anybody gonna get sick if they eat these tomatoes? That would not be good, right? All right, now we're gonna process them. So I ended up with 5 jars. I could have done a little more if I had another lid, but it's fine. So in our altitude, we're gonna process, which is around 1,000 feet, we're gonna process for 90 minutes. All right, so while that processes, I'm gonna divide up the chili then. So I have some nice like food store or like meal prep containers. So I'm putting 4 containers just to put in the fridge that can be fresh. I'll eat over the next 4 days, and then the rest I'm putting into storage baggies, freezer baggies. I'm using about a cup per serving. That seems to work out pretty well for me. I want to go away from baggies, but I've put these like glass containers in the freezer. They just take up so much freezer space. But I would like to get some more like reusable baggies and then not have to use the disposable ones. So that is my hope over time, but for now, here's where we're at right now. So I'm getting it all divided up. It did end up making about 18 servings. I mean, it was a big batch, right? So, but that's great. Like that'll give me lunches for quite a while. So it's a lot of work on the front end, but I'm glad to have it now. All right, so then the timer went off for the tomatoes. So I'm pulling them out onto here. And then this is where I noticed and it all started going wrong. I could see, I'm trying to get it to focus here. There's liquid seeping out of all the jars. So this is where I need to ask you, what did I do wrong? Did I not leave enough headspace? And now I'm freaking out because I'm like, how are they gonna seal if like this tomato juice like stuff is all leaking out of the containers? And so it feels like all my hours of hard work was just wasted. And you could see it on the towel and everything. And I'm like, oh man, I was so bummed. But I'm like, all right, well, I'm just gonna let them sit here overnight and we'll just reassess things in the morning. We have to get going to the party anyways. So that's where we left it for the evening. Okay, I need your help here knowing what I did wrong. So, so you can see that like a lot of the liquid like seeped out of it. And you can tell it's like sticky on the outside of the jar. But like if you just hold on to the lid, it seems sealed. So are these still safe to like give away and eat or not is what I need to know, because unfortunately that's how all of them are. So I know this usually happens, like I probably could have stuffed them a little bit more full, but this is the part that I need to know. Or should we just put them in the fridge and then try and use them up quickly? It would just be such a bummer if I don't have some canned tomatoes to bring to Marv, just because I know he likes them so much. So let me know why this happened so I don't do it again in the future, and then if these are safe to eat or not. And the bundt cakes and the pasta bake were a huge hit. So that cookie dough one was phenomenal. All right, I want your reaction to the sugar overload.
Wow.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
I think you took a fairly big piece. I think you could have got by with like half that much.
That was really good.
Good.
I think I'm gonna need some water.
Yeah, and a walk or something. Like I said, you don't need the cookie dough frosting and the cookie dough inside unless you just want to be really obnoxious and make a really sweet cake. Like you could take like a very thin slice of it and you had plenty of sweetness, but it was definitely a hit. It was very good. So like I said, our bundt cake recipe book will be coming out mid-November, and so we'll share all the details. But what I always forget to mention is our 5 days to an organized Christmas workshop. It actually kicks off on Monday. So Diana and I are doing this together, and next week we're just gonna go live 5 days in a row. Each day we're gonna have a different task for you to try and just get ahead on the holiday season, do a little planning and organizing. And also, you know me, we'll just be talking a lot about like how to scale back on gifts, how to make it more meaningful, how to say no to things. So our hope is that you can just really have an enjoyable holiday season and not fall into the normal traps that tend to get us this time of year. So it's completely free, and it comes with a free printable planner as well. So even if you just want the free planner, follow the link that I have in the description, and you can sign up for that, and then you'll get an email with details about that. So other than that, thanks for hanging out with me today. This was fun. It felt good to get all of this stuff done, and like I said, I do feel like having our house highly simplified makes days like this, where I just kind of want to get a lot of food prep or meal prep or cooking or different things done, it just actually makes it enjoyable and not so stressful. So I continue to be so grateful for that, and just so glad we've done the work to simplify our house and declutter it, because it just feels like it is the gift that keeps on giving. So I would love to know what you're up to this weekend. Again, if you have any canning tips for me, darn it, that is really frustrating. So I really hope that they're okay. But yeah, I would love to know what you're up to this weekend, if you have anything fun going on, any birthdays you're celebrating. But I love you. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you again soon.